This is going to sound crazy, but I turned away thousands of people. I think over the life of that funnel, I had probably 6,000 people begin to ask to join my downline. And then 4,000 were people that I would have wanted, and 1,000 ended up actually doing it. Your job is not just to create a magnet and attract people. Marketing is a magnet and a filter. What's going on, my awesome network marketers? I am trying something new here. I've got a little Osmo Pocket I mounted to my car dash. So when I started all this network marketing, YouTube and podcasts and stuff back in 2017, which, wow, first off, this has been going for 8 years now. I had a few different things that I was doing and working on, but one of the major things I was focusing on with the network marketing space and this podcast was I wanted to document my journey to recruiting 1,000 people. And I did. And I recruited 1,400 people all online, using online methods. I think I spoke personally to maybe like 2 people. Often when I say that, people are like, you're taking the humanity out of network marketing. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm building lead systems. So that's the biggest thing that network marketers struggle with is they go pitch their friends and family. And then when they're done talking to the friends and family, they have no more leads. So I was like, I'm just going to go solve that problem. How's that a bad thing? So anyway, now what the focus of the show is now is, after several years of being in that downline, I want to see what it's like being in a downline where I sell something higher ticket in the network marketing company. So instead of selling, $100 lotions, potions, and powders, could I go and grow a new downline from scratch in a different company with all the stuff that I learned, kind of starting over from scratch on purpose so that I can turn around, but do it still trying to go for 1,000 people, which I know I can do now. And I've learned a lot. I think it'll be faster this time, actually. But do it with a product that is much more high ticket. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not here to recruit you. I'm literally here to, and that's the theme of the show always, just so you guys know, is I'm not here to recruit you. I'm here to literally report on things that I'm learning. And one of the biggest developments that we had last week was I sat down with somebody in my new upline. I haven't really joined him yet because I've been setting the stage for a few things. I've been building a new funnel. I've been building a new recruiting offer. These are all tactics and strategies that I teach in my programs, if you're interested. Not a hard push there, but if you're interested. But what I do is I come up with a recruiting offer. So think about whatever your network marketing company sells is obviously a product, right? One of the ways that I will make that product stand out and I'll entice people to buy from me instead of from the next distributor is I will turn that product into a more appealing offer. I'll add bonuses. I'll give more help. I provide a lot more value, and they pay the exact same price to me as they would the next person. So like in the last downline that I was in was selling like a supplement. And instead of, think about it, like your upline's really your competition. Your downline's really your competition. Like, let's be honest about it. Yeah, we're all in this together. Woo, woo, woo. But in reality, the customer, it doesn't matter to the end user if they buy from you versus someone in your downline, right? So in a sense that we should be more honest about in this industry, your upline and downline of sorts is kind of your competition, or they at least can be if you're not careful. And so that's one of the reasons why I create these very specific product offers. I turn the network marketing product that I sell in the network marketing business, I turn a product and offer are not the same thing. So I go do all this work to go take the product and turn it into an offer. And it's one of the most natural reasons that people will buy from me, because they can clearly tell that what they're getting from me is more value for the same price compared to someone in my upline or downline. Does that make sense? That's like the first move that I make when I enter a network marketing business, and really in any business. How can I turn this product into a more appealing offer, right? Now, what I do after that is I do that to joining my downline. So you really have 2 products when you're network marketing. You have the product, but then the second product is actually your downline. Joining your downline should be treated like a product. So then I ask myself, how could I entice someone? Remember, because to the end user, it may not be that different joining your downline versus somebody else. And they might be like, ooh, I could join this other person. So what I do to entice people to join my downline is I come up with, I call it my recruiting offer. It's a unique recruiting offer, a URO. The unique recruiting offer is exactly what it sounds like. What is somebody going to get from me because they are enticed to join from me versus what they get when they join somebody else? that's a really, really powerful way to stand out among all the other people who they could join, right? Because it matters to your wallet if they join you versus somebody else. Being able to go out and stand out and be unique is really the job of a marketer. Isn't that interesting? Marketing is not really about being better. Marketing is about being unique. That's like the main theme, the main sentiment of marketing as a whole. How can I be unique in the market? That's a different mark to hit than how can I be better, right? Entrepreneur mindset is how do I be better? Marketer mindset is how can I be unique? So the reason I'm telling this to you is because this little foundation piece, you have to understand for what I'm about to say next, because I haven't even gotten to the main point of what I want to tell you guys. I was meeting with this very soon to be person in my upline as I get ready to go join this new business. And the purpose of this channel and my podcast is to literally document my ups and downs, the lessons that I'm learning as I go recruit 1,000 people again from scratch in a higher ticket network marketing company. Because I learned a lot and I definitely made mistakes in the old one. And so I'm like, let's try that again, but let's do it better. So I create these sales funnels on the internet to sell the network marketing product. So in the supplement business, I had a supplement style funnel. And you're like, all right, that makes sense. Duh, why would I not? I also do the same thing for joining my downline because that's the second product that I can sell. All right, is joining the opportunity itself. So I create an opportunity funnel. I create a recruiting funnel. And it's really how I was able to auto recruit over 1,000 people in my downline, with this auto recruiting funnel. So the old funnel, I do have another podcast episode that I went a little bit deeper on this. The old funnel that I had was laid out. It worked, obviously, but it was also long. It was really, really, really long. You came to a page and I'm like, hey, apply to join my downline. And that was like the big trick because I asked people to apply to join my downline. And that might sound crazy, but that's exactly what I did. Is I'm going to make people apply to join my downline. When they apply to join my downline on the very next page, well, the first page was just about enticing them to apply. So the second page was where they actually did the application. So I had an actual application. It wasn't a fake application either. It was a real application. And I absolutely turned away. This is going to sound crazy, but I turned away thousands of people. I think over the life of that funnel, I had probably 6,000 people begin to ask to join my downline. And then 4,000 were people that I would have wanted, and 1,000 ended up actually doing it. And it's interesting, the sales psychology that happens when you say that, apply to join my downline. It changes it, right? So think about this. Like if you're going, let's say you're going to school or you're trying to get into a college. Well, notice what I just said. You're trying to get into a college. They make you apply. Colleges do the exact same thing. They're like, we have a standard. You got to be this tall to ride this ride. There's some qualifications, some filters of the type of person they're looking for and credentials. I did the exact same thing with the exact same psychology. I said, why don't you apply to join my downline? And if I can see you're the kind of person that I'd like to work with, let's do it. We actually use that tactic all over the place, not just in network marketing, because of what it does, right? If you go apply to join a college, who is selling who at that point? The college is not selling you. You are selling you to the college. It flips the entire sales psychology. We do that all over the internet in a lot of different industries for this exact reason, because what starts to happen is instead of you chasing people saying, come join my downline, please, come join my downline. I'm just trying to recruit my 2 or 3 people and they're trying to recruit their 2 or 3 people. Like it flips it. You're like, wait, I have to apply to join this guy's downline? Interesting. And what happens is 2 things. First, you end up getting a more serious person because they're willing to apply. And yeah, I know some people hear that and they're like, that sounds so stupid. I can't believe how many people you didn't allow in your downline. And I'm like, I know, I get that. But also, how many people have you recruited who didn't do a freaking thing? It wildly up-levels the quality of the person joining. And if I can be so bold to say, customers are not created equally. They're not. And if you've been in business any amount of time at all, you know that, especially if you're an entrepreneur with your own business. If there is such thing as a dream customer, then by definition, there is such thing as a nightmare customer. Right? It's just a true fact. Your job is not just to create a magnet and attract people. Marketing is a magnet and a filter. It's both. And most people forget part two of that. And so they end up just recruiting anybody with willingness and a wallet. And that is the worst person to bring into a downline. Willingness and a wallet. I mean, I made this mistake on the very, very, very first network marketing company I ever joined. I went and I recruited 13 people. Half of them, 80% of them were friends and family. And they did this line. They said this thing to me that you probably have heard before as well. They say, well, I'm not really that interested, but I'll join if it helps you out. That person is not wanting to be in network marketing. They're just doing it as that's like, you know what I'm saying? They're not a builder. And so we get to skip a lot of that riffraff for lack of a lot of other things I could describe it by saying, look, I'm serious and I'm looking for serious people. And if you're serious, then I'm interested and I'll let you in. Otherwise, it's not like you can't join this network marketing company. Go join somebody else. Because I'm going to provide a lot of extra things for you. I'm going to do a lot of extra things that nobody else will. And I want to make sure that I'm not wasting my most precious resource, time. Don't waste my time. Does that make sense? I know I'm coming off strong with this, but you got to be serious about this. We're serious about this in other companies. Why do we not do it in network marketing? It just blows my mind that's just what happens. So anyway, I'm not even to the main point yet. Let me get to the main point. The main point here is that I used to do, it was like a 3 or 4 page funnel. The first page was basically saying like, hey, look, we asked for people to apply to join our downline. Second page is the actual application. Third page was a page that basically said, hey, we got your application. We'll email you and text you if we feel like we're a fit. And then we would go and we'd text them and send them over the application. In doing that, oh my gosh, guys, we saved ourselves from so many headache people, so many problem children. And you know what I'm talking about. And let's be honest about it, right? And so my sales and leads process needs to mirror the reality of human nature that not everybody's a builder and not everyone has your same goals. And we should not expect people to have the same goals that we do. Why would they? They're your goals. And asking friends and family who are not interested and frankly never will be is kind of crazy. You don't need to do that, right? Anyway, I hope this is making sense. So we went to dinner and just talked this out on what the strategy is going to be. This isn't the full strategy, but I've decided that I'm going to actually change the funnel significantly. And this might not sound like a significant change, but I have been a professional funnel builder for some of the largest names in the industry for the last 10 years. And so what I'm saying, I hope comes with that weight that this is a significant shift that I'm saying right now. The significant shift is that I am not going to do a 3 or 4 page application recruiting funnel anymore. Or at least I'm not going to launch with that. I might go back to it because it did work, but I'm going to try something different. And it's reflective of all the lessons that I've learned as well from the first 1,000 people I recruited. And what I'm going to go do is I'm going to build a funnel instead that it's 2 pages. I'm sorry, there's so many side stories, but I feel like you have to know what they are if you're going to actually understand why I'm doing what I'm doing on this. I'm a co-founder in a business that helps sell people's products over the phone. One of my business partners, he was the top salesman for Russell Brunson. And he left that business and he approached me and he was like, hey, I want to leave so that I can start my own thing. But he's like, I want to do it with you. And I was like, all right. So we started a sales company and we've closed, I think we're near or over $2 million for our clients in the last year. We have a small book of business. We don't close that many there's only like a handful of us. So we can only handle like 10 clients. And I'm saying that because what we're noticing, we get to see these trends of what is really working across all these clients. And we have, half of our clients just sending us repeat leads. They're sending consistent daily sales calls. And we're like, what are you guys doing that the others aren't? Right? Why would we not ask that question? Of course, let's drill into what's working. And so we start drilling into what's working. And sure enough, and this is true for all markets go through trends. And the trend that we're seeing right now for this style of kind of application is a 2-page funnel. Instead of 15, 20-minute sales video, it's like a 4-minute sales video. And instead of making the application be on page 2, it's on page 1, meaning it's shorter. Funnel size matters and shorter is better. Okay. And that's a trend I'm seeing across most industries right now for almost all funnel types. So what we're going to go do, what we're going to try and attempt here is a strategy where the recruiting funnel is going to be like a 4 to 5 minute sales video. It's simple. And that's one of the coolest things I'm noticing right now is that you don't have to make this sales video anymore. They work, by the way, but they're like these overproduced, really, really like high cost, getting a videographer and, you don't have to do all that stuff anymore. What I'm noticing more and more on these video sales letters, these or VSLs, if you haven't heard that term, the VSL, they're the sales video on that page in the past was something that I would have spent some money on. I would have brought in a videographer. There would be some editing costs involved. I would have, and that stuff still works. I'm not saying that don't do that, but just as much, I'm seeing that the kind of video that works also is a video where you literally just have like a Google Doc open. You just write your main points, you talk through it in 5 minutes, and then you say, hey, if you're interested, click the button, let us know below. There's a little form so we can learn more about you. And that's it. And when that form gets filled out, a contact card gets created inside of our pipeline. And now I can start working those leads, right? That's what we're moving more toward. In the past, I didn't have like a phone model running. Almost everything was all automated, and just having it all automated was enough hoops for me to filter out the people who were not willing to stick to it. The strategy I was running in the past was a funnel type where it's kind of like a little bit of a longer funnel. And I just took it that if you're willing to just click on the link in the email that we send you, or maybe the text, if you're just willing to follow the process, you were accepted into the downline. Like that was the true secret of it. And that was the reality of it, is that there wasn't much more to being approved into the downline. It's so funny, human nature, man. Like, yeah, 4,000 people applied to join the downline. And even though like almost all of them got sent the link to join, we still didn't approve everybody anyway, but just having a few extra hoops for people to jump through was enough for me to attract only the right people. So that's the whole point, is this funnel style that we're going to go after. And I'll tell you what link to go check it out if you want to. It is not me pitching you. I'm just trying to give you a live example if you want to see this actually in practice. But let me launch it first and get you guys some stats, because I don't want to just... Anyway, this is about... This podcast and this channel is about me reporting, right? I'm reporting what's happening. I'm reporting what's going on. Anyway, but that's the style we're going to, is we're going to go to an actual person pitching, getting on a sales call, an actual pipeline with leads coming on in. And we're going to do it that way so that we can vet people a little bit harder again, but in the flip sense, also be able to give them a lot more. So this recruiting offer that I'm creating is a lot less about just come get a copy of my recruiting funnel. That's what it was in the past. And it was the wrong offer. It was the largest mistake I made in the first 1,000 people that I recruited, because what started happening, it accidentally led to recruiting somewhat of a hollow downline. And I didn't catch it until it was kind of too late. And I don't know why I didn't think about it, but it was what I launched back in 2017, 2018. And I don't know, I didn't notice it. Back in 2017, 2018, we put out this offer. The recruiting offer back then was, hey, come join my downline and I'll give you a copy of my recruiting funnel. Well, it ended up just bringing in all these people who wanted my recruiting funnel rather than join my downline. And that little positioning tweak right there, it changed everything, man. It was hard. It made it so that I couldn't work as in depth with the people who actually wanted to be in the downline for the sake of the downline and to do the thing that we said that we were going to do. And we want to vet that harder, because I want people who actually want to be in the thing, who actually want to grow. I would rather have a small group of people than a ton. And you might be like, well, Steve, you're still going for 1,000 people. Yeah, I still want a giant downline. Who doesn't? Right? And it's funny because the person, my upline over the weekend when we went to dinner with her, she's like, you realize you only need our downline's really different because our thing is so high ticket. You only need 30 people. And I was like, well, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when I have 1,000 then, because I've already called my shot and I'm going to do it. So anyway, I think it's just kind of a funny thing to just go through an experience with this. So, but that's a big shift. That's the big change we're doing. So it's a 2-page funnel. It's going to be probably like a 5-minute, maybe 7-minute VSL. And the person has to have certain types of actual legitimate credentials if they're going to be joining my downline anyway, like the some certifications they have to have if they're going to be in it that we can't provide. They have to go get them. So that's the largest, biggest shift. And I know it'll slow down the amount of people who can actually join the downline. And it's one of the reasons why we also need to have an actual, physical, real, live phone conversation with people. And it might be one-on-one. We might make it so that it's group calls as well. Like, hey, it looks like all of you guys want to join the downline. It might be group, but for the first while, and I can see that for a while, it's going to be one-on-one calls. And I'll be feeding leads to my upline to close for me until we can find, the 2 or 3 rock star generals who are good at sales who join my team. And then I'll be feeding people in my downline those leads. That was the other thing that we did last time too, is we set it up in a way where I didn't get on any of the calls on my last 1,000-person downline. I literally just had my sales staff, whoever was interested in being in the downline, I had them join my downline, and then I just fed them leads all day. And it worked. When somebody applied to join the downline, the lead would auto fire over to one of the biggest producers in my downline. But what I did is I did it so it rang the phones of all, I think there was 4 people I chose in my downline who I just trusted to be good salespeople. And I rang all of their phones at the exact same time. So it was whoever was hungriest and whoever picked up the phone the fastest. I don't know if I'll do it the same way this time. I might do more of like a round robin thing, but speed is king. So if someone's interested, like I don't want it to round robin and then that person doesn't get a phone call. So maybe it round robins with like 2 phones and then a different set of 2 phones, a different set of 2 phones. I don't know. I'll figure that part out next, but that's kind of the strategy that we're going to go down with it. Now, the way we're going to get leads to this thing is I own a few clever domain names that we're going to create some lead gen, some low ticket lead gen things on. And in there, like people are going to be able to just straight up go to apply to join my downline, but we're going to set it up so we got some cool lead gen efforts in there too. So anyway, that's the strategy. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm building right now. We're just about ready to pull the trigger on it. I have one other big piece besides what I just told you I need to go finish. This is a slightly different topic, but it fuels what I just said. There is a famous quote in our industry that is as true as there is gravity. Whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. Whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. Think about it. When you go and you talk to your friends and family, how much are you spending to acquire that lead? Nothing. What is it that everybody struggles with after they talk to all their friends and family? Leads. Why do they struggle to get leads? Because they can't afford to spend money to acquire leads. Huh. So you're saying, Steven, that I need to be able to go on something like Facebook or Instagram or whatever and spend money to acquire leads to grow my downline with speed? Yes. But Steve, Facebook won't let me spend ads on network marketing. That's not exactly true. Between 2018 and 2020, I spent $300,000 on Facebook ads. Well, how did you do that? I didn't just spend money on ads. I would never tell anybody just to go do that. But what I did do is I spent money on ads toward a product that they could purchase that was not my downline. It was not my network marketing product. It was my own product. My own product, when somebody bought it, we would just take that money and dump it back into ads. So it was a self-providing, self-revenue generating ad machine. We call it a self-liquidating offer, meaning it liquidates. We're not trying to make money on it. The point is that it self-liquidates, and we take that money and we just circle it and dump it straight back into ads. And you look at the biggest people in network marketing who grow these massive downlines, most of them do what I just said. They don't do the friends and family thing. They don't do the 3-way phone call thing. They don't do the home party thing. Those are great methods for helping to recruit somebody's warm market. But once that's done, you got to turn to the internet, right? The best leads are online. The best leads are probably not contacts in your phone that you currently have. The best leads are people who are already on the internet, who are already looking for a network marketing company, who already know it's not a pyramid scheme, who already know that it's something they want to dive into. You don't have to install those beliefs or overcome those false objections because they already believe those things. And so how do you attract them? You attract them by creating products that type of buyer would be interested in and selling that. And then on the back of the product, you're saying, do you want to join my downline? And you take that front end cash and you dump it into ads. Bam. I just taught you guys one of the largest secrets that people pay me to teach them. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. That's literally what my programs teach people, is how to do that. It's Here's how to go create a few really, and that does not have to be hard, doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to sell expensive stuff, but here's how to create these little tiny, we call them front-end products if you're unaware of that. These little tiny front-end products that make it so that you can afford to spend money to acquire more leads. That's how we do it at speed. That's why 4,000 people. It's not that 4,000 people organically came and were like, let me join Steve's downline. Some of it was like people from my podcast. Some of it was people from YouTube. Sure. But that's not why. The reason I got access to that many eyeballs is that I paid for them. And I paid for them by creating front-end products, launching them, and then taking some of that cash from the first organic launch, and I just dump it back in. And this thing is a self-selling, self-fulfilling, self-liquidating offer that let me access a huge amount of the network marketing industry very, very quickly. So I can tell you right now, I absolutely have begun working on a network marketing book with my theology and theories. Why? So I can sell it, so that I can get leads off the back. All right, so there's a book, there's a low ticket thing, there is a course. Anytime I go into any industry, I want to find 3 to 5 things that are front ends that self-liquidate that I can actually use to guide people to the real thing on the back that I want to get them to, which in this case is my network marketing business, right? My actual personal network marketing business. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Let me know in the comments down below if that was helpful. In fact, any questions you have, I've been looking for, I literally have combed through comments you guys have left on these videos and in my podcast and even DMs to me as fuel for what I teach on this show. So if there is any questions you have at all, I'm serious, please ask, because I literally do look at them before I turn this camera on and turn this mic on. So anyway, let me know. Can't wait to help more. And let me know if you have done any amount of the strategy I'm talking about or if you have any questions about it. So happy recruiting, everybody. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.